So yesterday we did the tune-up on this thing, and today we've discovered a problem. And this is a very common problem that plagues a lot of engines from this era. And before I get into actual details and explain the hows and the whys, I'm going to show you the numbers first. I'm going to show you the temperatures first. This way I can shut it off and I don't have to talk over it. So this engine has now been running, sitting here running for about 20 minutes or so. Just sitting here idling. Right? Got a preliminary adjustment on the mixture screws, but it won't clean up perfectly. It's still a little weird. But I also see that choke has not completely opened. So let me show you these numbers. Alright, so we have our infrared thermometer, and pointing at the timing cover, we've got 167 degrees. At the thermostat, we've got 150 or 160 degrees, or thereabouts. Now watch the intake manifold. When we go to the first run on the intake manifold, we're only at 150 degrees. We come back and we lose 10 degrees. And look what happens when we go right under the carburetor. 30 degrees cooler. 32, 33 degrees cooler. And then we go back to a runner and we're back up to 150 degrees. Now remember those numbers, okay? So, if you recall in yesterday's video, we set the choke for just the slightest amount of tension, so that when the engine is cold, it's shut off, it's just barely closed. We went through the whole procedure of adjusting that and then the choke pull off. So that's where we left off with this. So keep in mind now, the choke has the slightest bit of spring pressure against it. So therefore it should, as this engine warms up, it should open very quickly. But instead, this is its resting position with the engine completely warmed up. And there's still plenty of tension to keep it closed. Not completely closed, but all right. So why is this? Why hasn't this thing warmed up yet? Well, the engine is completely warm, and the outer parts of the intake manifold are the same temperature as the rest of the engine. But underneath the carburetor, it's 30 degrees, 32 degrees cooler than the rest of it, where it actually should be hotter. All right, so there's going to be some contradictory stuff coming up, and I'll explain those details in a second. So what we have here is a very classic situation that used to occur with these cars. Now people talk about fuel injection being better, and in some respects it is, and here's one of the main reasons. The fuel enrichment for a cold engine with fuel injection is all done through the coolant temp sensor. So it measures the temperature of the coolant and then richens and leans the mixture accordingly. With this, we have this choke that does it, and the choke is operated through temperature, but not coolant temperature, intake manifold temperature. The intake manifold temperature here is boosted through a passage that runs between the cylinder heads under the carburetor, right? So it crosses over, it's a heat crossover, and the thermostat, or the choke, is in that path. So this section of the intake manifold should actually be 30, 40, maybe even 50 degrees hotter than the outer parts of it. Instead, we have the opposite. We have the runners are kind of warm, but the area underneath the carburetor is still cold, and so the choke is still cold. And so even though this thing's completely warmed up, the choke wants to stay closed. That is caused by excessive carbon buildup underneath the intake manifold, or I should say in that passage. So instead of exhaust heat, okay, you have to picture this. If you're not familiar with the way a cylinder head is laid out, on each cylinder head, there is one of the exhaust ports that has two exits, okay? So one exit is the normal exhaust path to the exhaust manifold. And then the other exit of this one port on each cylinder head faces the other way, right? And it sends exhaust gases, heated gases, to the area underneath the carburetor and the choke. All right, well, over time, given certain circumstances, they can become clogged with carbon. And once they become clogged with carbon, no heat can pass. And when no heat can pass, the choke doesn't want to open. And when the choke doesn't want to open, it runs the engine extra fat, keeps throwing extra gasoline in there, which only further aggravates the problem. Do you see what I'm saying? More gas, more sooty exhaust, more buildup in that passage. And over time, it literally becomes like a rock. It's almost like cast iron. To chip through it or blow through it is crazy and really not worth it unless it's a rare factory high performance intake manifold, or you've got an ancient car that you're trying to restore using exactly just the right original parts. It's not worth even getting involved in. It just becomes solid. In this case, this is literally a throwaway intake manifold. So rather than try to clean it, we're just going to toss it and we'll get another one. And I'm going to stick with the 2-barrel on this. I just want to stick with a nice, simple BBD carburetor. So I know, throw a 4-barrel on it, throw Weber's on it. No, not for this car. For this car, we're going to keep just a BBD. And I'm going to start looking for the old single plane 2-barrel intake manifold that would have come on this thing new. So this intake manifold is toast, and unless this intake manifold gets changed, the choke will never operate correctly, and if the choke doesn't operate correctly, then the engine will never go through its normal warm-up cycle and be drivable. So we found a major hurdle. Now let's talk about a contradiction here, because for years, for decades, I've been telling people, and it's a proven fact, that blocking off that passage between the cylinder heads and the underneath the carburetor makes power. And it does. You can probably see a 20-25 horsepower gain just blocking off that passage that's currently blocked off on this. But here's the difference. Regular carburetors are not calibrated, they're not rich enough at low speeds to take advantage of that cool air. And if you were to richen it up far enough, you'd hurt gas mileage. You'd probably kill the gas mileage by 3-4 miles to the gallon. So rather than take this carburetor and attempt to enrichen it to make it work with this, where this is not a hot rod. If it was a hot rod, no problem. Let's fatten up this carburetor and let's take advantage of that cool air that's passing through. No, this thing over here, because it's a driver, because we're leaving it stock, needs to have that under carburetor air passage, hot air. Otherwise, it just will never function correctly. So does that explain the contradiction, why in some circumstances you want to block that passage off, and in other circumstances it's like doom? Now this is an extremely common problem that happened with these cars back in the day. We were talking about, I did a video, I don't know, about a week or two ago, about the longevity of older cars. And this is one of those things, one of those simple things that normal maintenance, so something caused this thing to run really rich, whatever it happened to be. And because it was allowed to run rich like that for so long, you have that situation where the carbon builds up and blocks off that passage. So this was a situation where at some point during this engine's life, its maintenance and simple repairs were neglected. And because they were neglected, it ran like that. Fat built up that carbon, and then it's like a what's that thing? It's not a self-fulfilling prophecy, you know, where the snake eats itself, where the snake eats its own tail. You know what I'm talking about? So the longer it runs rich, the more carbon builds up. The more carbon builds up, the less temperature is, the more it runs rich. You get the general idea, right? So that's the plan with this thing now. I'm not going to do it right now. I'm just going to keep my eyes open. The car is drivable as it is, and what I'm going to do is just back the choke way off so that it doesn't have that problem, you know, where it's not going to open. I'm going to drive around with the choke partially closed, but I have to be prepared to let this thing warm up for about 15 minutes before it's going to run really right. No, definitely not the ticket for a quick daily driver, but I'm not in any rush to get this thing done. So I'll back off the choke and start hunting for an intake manifold. And when I have one, we'll swap it out. But that's probably a good reason why this thing would have gotten parked to begin with. Because when it's cold for the first, even though it's not cold right now, it's fully warmed up, but it'll give you a lot of hesitation, a lot of like off idle, just kind of stumble and stuff, because there isn't enough heat in that intake manifold to lighten up the fuel as it comes through the carburetor. Remember, as the fuel comes through the carburetor, it's actually dropping. That atomization actually drops the temperature. It only further aggravates it. You see what I'm saying? So definitely needs that heat. If you've got a similar problem where you can't get a choke adjustment no matter what you do, and it takes forever and ever and ever to warm up, that's your culprit. Exactly what we've got going on over here. All right, so simple update on our tune-up and Scribbles the CUDA. Okay, why do I call this thing Scribbles the CUDA? I'm going to show you real quick, all right? So I sat in it the other day, the day after we got it, and I'm looking things over, and I noticed that at some point in this car's history, probably decades and decades ago, some little kid sat in this seat and scribbled on the center of the gauges. She probably caught hell for that. What did you do to mommy's car? But you know what? It's there, and it's part of the car's history. And no matter what happens to this thing, however far as like, restoring, I'm not going to restore this car, but I seriously hope that no matter what happens to this car in its history going forward, after it leaves my hands 10 years from now, 30 years from now, maybe it goes through a complete rotisserie restoration, I just hope the future owners of this car are going to get as much of a smile out of those scribbles as I did, and leave them alone, because that defines this car's personality to me. Scribbles the CUDA. I'll see you tomorrow.